And you've had a busy couple of days. You've met with your counterpart here in China, Qingang. What has been the nature of some of those conversations?
So basically the bilateral relationship that we have had over a period of time, there are a number of issues for us to discuss, particularly revolving around investment and the economies, and also some regional and global issues. So we have had a very good discussion with them, and particularly how China can help us, our next phase of propel growth, and also to face some of the challenges in terms of debt restructuring and debt burden which we have been undergoing for a considerable period of time.
How are those conversations going? Because we know that they've been going on for quite some time. We've just had this deal out of Zambia. They're going to be restructuring debt there, something that China is heavily involved in. How are you watching those developments, and how are your conversations going?
Our conversation went off pretty well. I met the foreign minister, finance minister, as well as the chairman of the Exim Bank. The chairman of the Exim Bank is the counterpoint here in China for us to discuss the debt restructuring. All those discussions were very, very fruitful and very cordial, and they have given us the undertaking that they will continue to support the Sri Lanka's next phase of development. And in the meantime, as you very correctly pointed out, what has happened in Zambia, it gives us a lot of optimism and a lot of hope, and I think it's time that we need to have a global debt restructuring architecture which would help smaller countries, emerging economies and frontier countries, so that they could quickly get out of the trouble and get into the next space without get embroiled in controversy forever.
That's a great point you make, because many are wondering if that deal will perhaps be a template moving forward for other countries. I want to talk about your economic situation at home. How is it positioned right now compared to what we saw last year?
Yeah, last year had been a very difficult year for us, but since then things have really improved a lot. We have eliminated all sorts of shortages in terms of fuel, cooking gas and the food and the medicine, things like that. And we have no power cut at all, 24 hours uninterrupted power, and then inflation is under control. Probably we will get it down to about less than a single figure probably in a couple of months. Tourists are coming back, money is coming back through the proper channels, and rupee had appreciated. So things are looking better compared to what it used to be, but long way to go. We have made, as the Premier said, moderate gains during the last 10 months, a long way to go.
And you've got some quite serious restructuring talks happening this week.
Yes.
Can you talk us through what will be happening there?
Yeah, it's very important that basically we obtain the EFF from the IMF. With that comes a lot of conditions also. IMF has provided us a debt sustainability analysis. So we need to work towards that in terms of reduce the overall debt and also the external debt. So we are in the process of talking to several parties in order to restructure the debt. There are several parties, bilaterals, multilaterals, of course the bondholders like the private and the commercial creditors, and the local creditors.